formula. The complex equation of situation, circumstance, and opportunity, all adding up to victory. A theorem the Rockies seem to have mastered.
We're playing with a lot of momentum. Everybody counts or nobody counts.
Whether the bat, the glove,
what a catch, Willie Tavares!
or a timely walk.
We've talked about this Rockies offense and how many different ways they can beat you.
Tonight, the Diamondbacks look for a winning formula of their own and a way back in this series. Game 3, Diamondbacks, Rockies, next.
It's a cold, raw, wet night in Denver, but a very warm welcome home for the red-hot Colorado Rockies. Tonight they host the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 3 of the 2007 National League Championship Series. Good evening, everybody. Along with Bob Brenly and Tony Gwynn, I'm Chip Carey. The Rockies have a 2-0 series lead. And, Bobby, their historic run continues. They've won 19 of their last 20 games. And perhaps the biggest surprise is not that they're playing so well, but the way they're winning in this series.
Well, they've pitched well. They've played great defense. We kind of expected that from this Rockies ball club, but they have not hit the way they did during the regular season. Their .280 batting average led the National League, only hitting .210 as a ball club in this series. Ironically, they're scoring runs, being very opportunistic like the Diamondbacks did during the regular season.
But in postseason play, Tony Gwynn, that hasn't been the case for Bob Melvin's ball club. All year long, they said anybody, anytime. That's their rally cry. During the playoffs at the plate, it needs to be somebody, anybody right now.
That's exactly right. I mean, you can't win in this game unless you have some opportunistic hitting. That's been their trademark all year long. Thus far in the postseason, 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position, and one of those 2 was a bunt single by Jess Cirillo. So if they want to stay in this series, offensively, they got to show a little patience, but they're going to have to deliver with guys in scoring position. Otherwise, it's going to get out of hand.
And no team has ever lost the first 2 home games of a league championship series and come back to win that series. But Arizona tonight will turn to veteran Livan Hernandez to try to get back into things with the Rockies. They'll counter with the Dragon Slayer, Josh Fogg. It's Game 3 from Coors Field. Diamondbacks and Rockies coming up.
The National League Championship Series on TBS is presented by Budweiser. Reach for a Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. And brought to you in part by Fidelity Investments, Smart Move. By Verizon, get all the action right on your phone. Catch crazy sports plays, news, even trivia, all on Vcast, only on Verizon Wireless. And by Lipitor.
We are back in Denver. It is Rocktober, as they call it here at Coors Field. Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. The great play of the Rockies, one of the stories we'll talk about tonight. The other is the weather. And with more on that, we check in with our colleague, Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, the latest look at the AccuWeather Radar Center indicates that the heavy precipitation out of the Denver area is now centered over Nebraska. Temperature will be falling into the 30s while the heaviness throughout the game with a 10-mile-an-hour breeze blowing out to right field. Now, despite the fact that it's been raining on and off the past 24 hours, this field is in pretty good shape. That is due to a unique drainage system. Beneath the surface, 4 inches of peat gravel, and every 15 feet running the length of the field, perforated drain pipes. They suck the water from the surface. It then is collected out in left center field by the 390-foot mark in a huge bin that flows into the Denver sewage system. Since 6 o'clock last night, an inch and a half of rain, over 262,000 gallons of water has been sucked from the surface and sent into the Denver sewage system. Yep.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Hope his suit is waterproof tonight, as it's coming down in pretty good shape here tonight at Coors Field. Here's a look at Arizona's starting lineup. The Diamondbacks down 2-0 in the series with Chris Young, Stephen Drew, Eric Burns, who had some interesting comments in the papers this morning, hitting third. Then Tony Clark back in there at first base, Mark Reynolds, Jeff Salazar, Miguel Montero, the personal catcher for Livan Hernandez. Augie Ojeda will be at second base, and Livan Hernandez will pitch and bat ninth. Here's a look, gentlemen, at starter Josh Fogg. There's the numbers of Fogg against the Diamondbacks. Very good numbers, in fact. Fogg 10-9 this year in 29 starts. 23 home runs given up by Fogg in 165 innings and 2/3.
Yeah, both the starting pitchers tonight very similar in style. They'll both sink their fastball. They'll both cut their fastball. Big over-the-top curve, a slider, change-ups in any counts. They both need to stay out of the middle of the plate. And both these guys have to be able to pitch from behind because they will be behind in the count tonight.
That's exactly right. And, Fogg was taking a look at video of these Diamondback hitters before the game today and just looking to see what kind of things had worked against them before. And I agree with Bob. I think the key for him is he's got to change speeds in the strike zone today. He's pitched very well coming down the stretch, and if he could do that today, he's going to have a chance to be successful.
So Fogg, who was the pitcher in game 163 here at Coors Field, gave up 5 runs in 4 innings against the Padres. Gets the ball tonight with this defense behind him. Holiday, Taveras, and Hoff from left to right. Atkins, Tulowitzki, Matsui, and Helton along the infield. And Jorgen Torrealba will be the signal caller behind the plate. I'll look at the umpiring crew tonight. Larry Vanover will call the balls and strikes. Hallion, Hernandez, and Joyce also on the infield. Tim McClellan, the left field umpire. Mark Wagner will man the right field line tonight. So Josh Fogg will face Chris Young leading off the first. A dreary, drizzly night, but these fans could care less. First ever League Championship Series game in Colorado Rockies history. And the first pitch is on the way. And we're underway. Ball 1 to Chris Young. Young 1 for 6 in this series. And it's popped back our way, foul.
I got to tell you guys, I don't believe I've ever seen a major league game started with the amount of precipitation that we're having right now. Usually they wait for that proverbial window for the rain to stop before beginning the ball game, but starting in a pretty steady downpour.
Young, a little flare into shallow center field. That ball's going to drop for a blue pit. And there's a Coors Field single, fellas. You've seen many of those in this place.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, you come into Coors Field, and there's so much room here. As a team, you have to decide if you're going to take these blue pits away from the opposition, or you're going to play deep. The Rockies chose to play deep today, and Young drops this ball into center field for a base hit.
And let's see if he does some running. He had 27 stolen bases in regular season play, and if he can avoid tagging Tulowitzki's foot, he might reach second here in game number 3. Stephen Drew, the batter. Drew 2 for 8
against Josh Fogg this year. 12 stolen bases in 14 attempts. We've documented Jorgen Torrealba had a little rough time of it at the end of the year. Caught only 2 of his last 32 during the regular season.
Young measures off a pretty good lead. They took the tarp off about an hour ago, so the infield looks to be in pretty good shape. But more to your point, Bob, there's that day off between games 4 and 5 now in the National League Championship Series. The danger both clubs have now is if the weather gets worse as the night goes on, neither Clint Hurdle nor Bob Melvin want to lose their starting pitcher tonight. One ball, 2 strikes.
Right there, that's a 0-2 changeup right there. For the Diamondbacks, it's almost imperative you put a run on the board. Put something on the board early. Give yourself a little bit of a cushion, a chance to kind of relax and enjoy and play the game.
Now, Tony, what kind of effect will the water on the outfield grass have on the outfielders? I would assume that a base hit that rolls through the grass for any amount of time is going to be tough to get a grip on.
Yeah, you're going to be able to pick up an extra 90 feet on a ground ball roll, a base hit.
Driven to right field. Hop got a good jump. He cannot come up. And Young in safely at second. So 2 straight hits to start the game. And the Diamondbacks fellas are in business. 2 hitters up, 2 hitters on in the first inning.
Pretty good job there by Stephen Drew, falling behind in the camp, but he got something to hit. You see Brad Hopp come in and short hop this ball and try to make a play at second base. And we're talking about the grass being wet on those balls that skip, that short hop like that. It's going to take a long hop, and so outfielders have to be careful tonight. The footing's going to be a little bit slippery. Balls that are hit on a line are going to skip instead of bounce. And so defenders in the outfield are going to have to take a little bit of caution as they go to try to field balls tonight.
Here's Eric Burns. He's 3 for 9 in the series, and he has been booed lustily so far in this ball game for the comments he made in the newspapers this morning. Burns talking about that most of the breaks, most of the luck has gone Colorado's way, and that the Rockies haven't outplayed Arizona, but Burns said it's the other way around. Yet it's the Diamondbacks down 2 games to none.
Well, and the Rockies aren't going to apologize for catching some breaks. I mean, that's just the nature of the game of baseball, and any team will tell you.
Line back to the mound. Young's doubled off. Throw back to first. Not in time. Another break goes Colorado's way.
And that's what I think Eric Burns was talking about. They've had opportunities. And here's another, first and second, nobody out. He lines this ball, which could have been a base hit up the middle. Instead, Fogg makes the catch, and the Rockies came close to turning a triple play right there.
And they already have one of those this season. Troy Tulowitzki turned in an unassisted triple play against Atlanta earlier this year. And look at Burns. So instead of a big inning in the top half of the first, you've got a runner at first and 2 out for Tony Clark. And he jumps on the first pitch. That ball hit into shallow right center field, but Taveras is under. He's got it. Inning over. 2 hitters on. No luck for the Diamondbacks. It pours for the Diamondbacks, and it is pouring right now in the bottom half of our first inning. Here come the Colorado Rockies with Willie Taveras leading off in center field. He'll be followed by Kaz Matsui batting and playing second. Matt Holliday is in left. Todd Helton, the cleanup man. Garrett Atkins over at third base. Brad Hobson right. Troy Tulowitzki, the shortstop. Jorge Torrealba hits 8th behind the plate. And Josh Fogg will pitch. And Matt Knight. Arizona turns to the veteran, Livan Hernandez, a fly ball pitcher, but a pitcher that's had plenty of postseason luck and experience.
He's pitched well against the Rockies in his 5 starts this year. This is a perfect night to pitch, especially a veteran like Livan Hernandez and Josh Fogg. They know how to take advantage of the conditions.
There's a bunt try. Taveras, 1 pitch and 1 man out. A live Spanish language feed now available via the SAP button as we again check in with Craig Sager.
Well, you guys were talking about the field conditions. They weren't able to mow the outfield grass despite the rain. That grass is 7/8 of an inch long now. That means balls out there will hit and skip. Meanwhile, they did not mow the infield grass, which is 1 inch and 5/8. So we may see a lot of batters lay down bunts, or ground balls will be definitely slowed down. Could see a lot of double plays.
Craig, thank you very much. Here's Matsui. Kaz Matsui, 2 for 9 in the series. There's 7 RBIs in the postseason. He has been a silent assassin for this Colorado club.
He's been one of the few guys that swung the bat real well in the postseason. You see, 333.
Another roller back to Livan Hernandez, and 3 pitches, 2 outs. Couple of comebackers to the hill. And here's Holliday.
Boy, very important on a night like this to get your team back in the dugout as quickly as possible. And on the other hand, try to extend your innings offensively. Keep that team standing out there on defense in the rain.
And Matt Holliday, the hitter, with the bases cleared. Guys, did Arizona find a hole for Holliday in Game 2 down in Phoenix?
Well, he swung at a lot of high fastballs. Both teams were swinging at a lot of high fastballs. And, boy, unless you really have a quick top hand, that's a tough pitch to go after.
Hernandez nibbles outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Holliday 8 for 31 against him lifetime. And, of course, every time he comes to bat in this series, you'll hear MVP. Swing and a drive, left field line deep. Burns back as far as he can go. It's 1-0.
That breaking ball drove it out of here to left field. Right in the middle of the plate and down. And boy, he does a nice job staying on that ball and driving it to left field. Look at that extension. See the top hand come off that bat, but the bat stayed on the plane and he drove it out of here to left field.
So it's the Rockies that draw first blood in Game 3 tonight, and Todd Helton up. Helton has absolutely worn out Livan Hernandez. He's batted against him 66 times. He has 32 hits. But Livan ahead of him, 0-2.
If you're the Diamondbacks, you had first and second and nobody out, and you come away with nothing. Livan gets 2 quick outs. And then Matt Holliday takes a hanging breaking ball and hits it out of the ballpark. So you're the Diamondbacks, you're going to have to bounce back from that.
Driven foul again by Helton. Some might say they're snake bit.
Ooh. I think that's what Eric Burns was talking about.
Well, and for the Rockies, it was 103 of their 171 home runs this year came here at Coors Field. That's pretty much standard operating procedure for a Rockies offense.
And again with Livan Hernandez getting so many fly ball outs. Cold weather, rainy weather, you hit it hard in this place, you have a chance to give up a home run, and Hernandez did to Holliday.
Saw Hilton's lifetime numbers there. A good example of him having a good idea of what Hernandez is going to try to do to him. That last pitch just ran off the outside corner and Hilton took it.
Breaking ball got him, and a Matt Holliday home run deep to left field with 2 outs gives Colorado a 1-run lead at Coors Field in Denver. Chilly baseball night in Denver, and at long last, guys, we finally have a home run in this series. The first home run hit by Matt Holliday with 2 outs gives the Rockies a 1-0 lead. So back to work will go Josh Fogg, who has been hammered in the last 5 games he's pitched at Coors Field. A 1-1 record and .859 earned run average. We'll see if he can keep momentum in his dugout in this second inning. And Mark Reynolds is the first man to greet him. Reynolds 2 for 10 in the series, but very anxious in Game 2.
Very anxious. They threw him fastballs up in his zone all night in Game 2, and he chased a lot of them. Fogg's numbers here in his last 5 starts.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And when you talk to scouts around the National League about Josh Fogg, one term that comes up is he pitches backwards. And by that, when he gets ahead of a hitter, he's more likely to come inside with something hard. When he falls behind a hitter, he's just as likely to throw something off speed.
Hard hit ball, but line to third. Might have broken the bat. Reynolds retired, leading off the second.
Yeah, we talked about in Arizona, they challenged him with fastballs here. Fogg throws him a breaking ball and really misses. Goes on the outer half of the plate. You see Reynolds hits this ball decent, kind of hits it off the end, cracks his bat right at Atkins.
That was supposed to be that front door slider that you start right at the hitter and try to break it over the inside corner, but as you mentioned, Tony, left it out over the plate.
So here's Jeff Salazar. Salazar started Game 2, went 0 for 3. A former Rocky, acquired on a waiver claim by the Diamondbacks. One ball, 1 strike.
Well, for Bob Melvin, I know he's a little bit frustrated. Well, this is a team that's really, made its living on guys getting a big hit, delivering with guys in scoring position. And in this series, I think he was a little frustrated when we talked to him today because he said his team has gone through these kind of phases before where they lose 4 or 5 games in a row and not drive in runs. But he fully expects his team to find it.
That one looped over first, and that's in for at least one. Big turn by Salazar, but he will stop there. Won't challenge the arm of Hop even with a wet baseball. So the 3rd hit of the night for Arizona has Salazar aboard.
Now Salazar, a hitter that doesn't stride at all. Spreads out in his stance at the batter's box right there. Just kind of rocks back onto his back foot. Little top spin line drive over the head of Todd Helton down into that right field corner.
Even with the slow track, Salazar really didn't challenge Brad Hop out there in right field. He just pretty content just taking the single.
I think they've had enough adventure at second base for one series. As Miguel Montero looks at the strike. Ten home runs for Montero in regular season play, starting tonight with Livan Hernandez. They've been paired virtually all season long as the Arizona battery. And foul for a second strike.
Now Montero does have good opposite field power. We saw him double off the wall at Chase Field. Matt Holliday made a great play on the carom, threw into second base. Montero slid over the bag, was tagged out to end the ball game.
Hard hit ball, that's through for a base hit. Salazar around second. He's going to try. Hop loads up, throws late. 1st and 3rd for Arizona with 1 man out. So Fogg, as he usually does, gives up a lot of hits in this ballpark. He's given up 4 already tonight.
Yeah, that's a pitch out over the plate. Montero hooks this ball in the hole between 1st and 2nd. And this time Salazar challenges Brad Hop. Gets to 3rd base. Being aggressive, going around second base, trying to pick up the extra 90 feet. So if you're a Diamondback fan, you have to be encouraged. You got 4 hits already here in the first 2 innings. And an opportunity here to tie the ball game.
And here's one of those must-score opportunities, Tony, that we talked about in the open for the Diamondbacks. They're 2 for 15 so far in this series with runners in scoring position.
Now, one thing the Diamondbacks were very good at during the regular season was sacrifice flies in situations just like this. They had 58 on the season.
Ojeda looks high and away, ball 2. They'll appeal to 3rd, no swing. Jim Joyce with the call over there. And you have to be careful in this spot too. Livan Hernandez, one of the best hitting pitchers in the National League. He waits next. Two balls and a strike. Augie Ojeda's filled in admirably for Orlando Hudson, out with a torn ligament in his hand. If Arizona makes the World Series, it's possible that Hudson could come back and play for Arizona then. But in his stead, Augie Ojeda's had a very good run, especially with the glove. He's not made an error at second base.
Yeah, defensively, he's been solid. And this is a situation where, you don't have to try to get the base hit here. Just a, simple pulling of the ball between 1st and 2nd.
Double play, though, perhaps. Bad throw. Tulowitzki throws to 1st. They call the double play. 4-6-3. What a play by Tulowitzki. Inning over. 2 more hits. No more runs for Arizona. They're down 1. Last of the 2nd. What a double play turn by Troy Tulowitzki, the shortstop. And his Rockies lead by a run here in the home half of inning number 2. Livan Hernandez will face Atkins, Hop, and the aforementioned Colorado shortstop. And a quick strike to Atkins is 2-4-7 in this league championship series.
I'll tell you what, coming into this series, you know, we knew the Rockies could swing the bat, but I had no idea their defense is this good. I mean, the 3 games in this series so far, they've been tremendous. And that double play is another example of why.
Popped up shallow center. Young will battle the raindrops. And he makes the catch for out number 1. How about second base, Bob Brenly?
Boy, it has been the epicenter of a lot of bad things for the Diamondbacks in this series. The Justin Upton play at second base, that turned into a double play. Matt Holliday, this is the play we mentioned earlier. Miguel Montero slides over the bag at second. Another caught stealing. Nice block by Troy Tulowitzki. Stephen Drew runs off the bag, assuming he'd been called out. A double play earlier in the game on a line drive back to the pitcher. The Diamondbacks want to consider pulling Chip Hale from third base coach's box and putting him out there at second base. That's where they're having all their problems.
No balls and a strike. As Brad Hawk has had a good series, 3 for 6 with a couple of RBIs. That was a 2-out run scoring hit by Hawk in game 1. Another area where this Rocky team has had a dominant lead over Arizona. 2-out run scoring opportunities. Clint Hurdle's club on an historic run. They've won 19 of their last 20 games. They have yet to lose in this postseason.
Again, when you won 19 of 20, you just feel like stuff's going to happen in your favor. Breaks are going to go your way. You know, still you got to go out and make pitches, make plays, swing the bat. But you know, when you won 19 of 20, you just feel like every day you're going to find a way to win.
The last team to win 19 of 20 games after September 1st, the 1977 Kansas City Royals. They went 19-1. Guess who played on that team? Manager Clint Hurdle. Back door not open, full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Hawk. Hawk had 18 of his 116 runs batted in this year against Arizona pitching. But he strikes out. Livan Hernandez with his second strikeout. Here's that great double play that ended the top of this second inning.
Troy Tulowitzki does a nice job of stretching out for the throw and dragging his right foot across the bag right there. That got the out. The reverse spin move, strong throw onto first to complete the double play. One thing to look at here, look at where Miguel Montero slides on this play. Do you think he can reach that bag? I don't think so.
That was almost a worse slide than Upton.
That was
back in Arizona.
He was way out of the baseline.
So Tulowitzki in the box with 2 outs. Base is clear. 2 for 9 is he in the series, and 3 for 15 against Livan Hernandez lifetime. And here is that Upton slide in game 1.
You can reach the bag on that. A little forearm shiver, I think, is what gave Vanover the feeling to call him out on that.
So second base indeed has been the keystone base for Arizona in this series. And they're down a run on a Matt Holliday first inning homer with 2 outs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Arizona had 2 on, nobody out in the first, hit into a double play. Had 2 on, 1 out in the second, hit into a double play. A floater hit toward third. Reynolds makes a clean play, and that'll retire the side. Livan Hernandez, 3 up, 3 down, and to the third we go in Denver. 4 Arizona hits, but no Arizona runs. Matt Holliday has the lone Colorado hit, and it left the ballpark as we welcome you back to Coors Field. Game 3 of our NLCS. Livan Hernandez pitching very well. Josh Fogg's giving up hits, but that vaunted Colorado defense playing very well behind him.
Well, it's easy to be aggressive in the strike zone when you have that kind of defense behind you, and Josh Fogg is a guy that pitches to contact most of the time anyway. So a couple of lost opportunities in the early going, but I don't think it was a fault of the Diamondbacks. It was a credit to the Rockies defense.
And a hanging breaking ball by Livan Hernandez. Matt Holliday hits it out of the ballpark. He's throwing the ball pretty well too.
So a good hitting pitcher, Livan Hernandez, will take matters into his own hands here for Arizona. And he swings and misses a big breaking ball. Remember, it was Doug Davis in game 2 leading off the 3rd inning that doubled over Willie Taveras' head in center field, and that ended up tying that game at 1-1. See if Hernandez can turn the trick here tonight. And how good a hitter is Livan Hernandez? While with the Giants in 2001, once had 12 hits in a 13 at-bat stretch.
And you know, they're playing him the other way. Willie Taveras is on the second base side of center field, and when you see an alignment like that, what it's saying is they're going to pitch him away. They're not going to give him a chance to pull a ball. They're going to try to throw the ball in the outer third and make him hit the ball the opposite way. But Livan Hernandez is a good hitter. He's got some power, and if you make a mistake middle of the play, he can really hurt you.
Bouncing ball towards short. Tulowitzki. High throw, but no trouble for Helton. 1-0 Colorado the lead. Again, we join Craig Sager.
Well, a very busy night for Mark Razum and this grounds crew. After each inning, they go out and they cover the infield with this pro-choice draining gravel. Probably a hybrid kitty litter. But also, you may notice that the foul lines, instead of the normal chalk and sometimes latex that they put down there, put a call into the head groundskeeping guru George Tolman, Kansas City. He said, hey, go to the store, buy some enamel paint. It goes on quickly, dries quickly, and will not spread on the field. It will stay along the line. And so that's what they did early this morning. So they've been working about around the clock since it started raining last night about 6 o'clock.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Here's Young. He singled his first time up. A little blooper that dropped into shallow right center field. And he works a 2-0 count. Ball 3 high.
A night like tonight, tough to keep your hands warm, keep your toes and feet warm.
Inside ball 4. So a runner aboard, the tying run potentially for Arizona. As Young, the first man, Fogg, has passed in tonight's game. We will have game 4 for you of this National League Championship Series tomorrow night from Coors Field in Denver. Our coverage will begin at 10 o'clock Eastern time with TBS MLB on deck. Glad to have Ernie Johnson and Cal Ripken, Frank Thomas, Ron Darling here in Denver on a cold, rainy night. And a very important game for the Diamondbacks. If they win, they climb back into the series with 2 more on tap, perhaps, at Coors Field. Drew takes a sinker for a strike. He, too, singled his first time up.
Well, if you're the Diamondbacks, you really have to narrow your focus. You can't be worried about winning 3 games or 4 games. You need to worry about winning a game. And within that ball game, every at bat, every play is going to be a battle.
Double play ball again. 4 to 6 to 3. This is unbelievable. 3 double plays in the game's first 3 innings. 1-0 Colorado the lead. What a defense.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
We cannot state it enough. The bandwagon is full here in Denver. One reason why: the Rockies have the best team fielding percentage in Major League history. They have turned 3 double plays in the first 3 innings tonight. And they lead 1-0 behind a Matt Holliday solo home run in inning number 1. Yorvit Torrealba against Livan Hernandez, and he takes a quick strike. Fly ball, well hit center field. Young going back to the track, to the wall. It's off the wall. And Torrealba in at second with a double. They shoot off the fireworks. As Torrealba in scoring position with nobody out.
Torrealba took something out over the plate, and he drives this ball to center field. Look at the extension. You see, nice solid swing, drives this ball to center field. Chris Young had a long way to go to try to catch this ball, decides to play it off the wall. It's a nice stab of that ball coming back off the wall to hold Torrealba to a double.
Okay, now Fogg, you figure will be bunting here with nobody out.
Different conditions, no rain. That ball probably gets out of here.
And ball outside. That is true, guys. That's big key in this game. And a key that should, you figure, help Arizona, not blessed with as much power as this Colorado club. We'll see if it pays off for him tonight. Fogg had 9 sacrifices this year in regular season play.
Oh! Well, the real key to this play, if you're the runner at second base, you are under no obligation to advance unless it's a good bunt. A lot of times poor base runners in this particular situation will feel like they have to go to third base if that ball is bunted and run into an easy out at third. Torrealba does not have to advance unless it's a good bunt.
That one wasn't, and it's foul. 2 balls and a strike. Clint Hurdle relays the signs to Mike Gallego, the Colorado third base coach. Rockies back in their familiar and very lucky black uniforms tonight.
Didn't take them long to get back into those black unis, did it?
Arizona in game 2 tried a little gamesmanship. They wore the black shirts. Didn't work out. They lost game 2 also.
The way the Rockies have been playing the last 3 weeks, they could wear tank tops and Bermuda shorts. They're just playing some good baseball right now, regardless of what uniform top they're wearing.
Well, the White Sox did that years ago. Remember those?
Unfortunately, I do remember those.
He walks the pitcher, trying to give him an out. First and second, nobody out. Third inning, and don't forget the American League Championship Series resumes tomorrow night. There'll be at Jacobs Field in Cleveland for Game 3, Red Sox and Indians. Hopefully Joe Buck and Tim McCarver are well rested after last night's marathon at Fenway Park, won by Cleveland. So that series tied 1 game apiece. And we'll wish Timmy and Joe luck tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern on Fox from Jacobs Field.
Clint Hurdle had Josh Fogg bunting. Let's see if he has Willie Taveras bunting.
Bunted foul at the plate. And Angel Hernandez saw that as well. He came charging in from his second base umpiring position to help out the home plate umpire.
You know, the call by Vanover and Angel Hernandez was that ball struck Willie Taveras in the batter's box. He gets into a position to drop this bunt down, tries to put it to the third base side, and comes up and hits him in the leg right there before he's even out of the box. That's just a foul ball. And as you can see, Taveras trying to bunt that ball to the third base side in this situation. Runners at first and second, try to force Mark Reynolds to come in and make the play.
Again he bunts. Hernandez pounces, goes to third. Close play. Got his man. A high-risk, high-reward play for Livan Hernandez, and he gets Torrealba for out number 1.
It's a nice play by Livan. Bare hands and makes a strong throw. See Reynolds gets cleated there. He had his foot right on top of the bag. But this is a great play by Hernandez, bouncing off, picking up with the bare hand, and making a strong throw to third base.
Yeah, looking at Livan Hernandez's body, you wouldn't expect him to be as good an athlete as he is. That was a very good play there, getting himself into a position so that when he did pick up the baseball, he was already in a position to throw that ball to third base and get the lead runner.
So Matsui, who, as we told you, third highest RBI total in the postseason, behind a couple of Boston Red Sox, goes to work and looks at a ball outside. 4 hits with runners in scoring position this postseason. The Diamondbacks team has a total of 6. So beware of Matsui in this situation. Anthony's a called strike.
Matsui's used the whole field too. Signal to center, signal to left center to drive in a run. In the Phillies series, he hit a grand slam home run to straightaway right field. So he's used the whole field. He's bounced the ball around.
In the air to left. Burns, long run. Makes the play in foul ground. Big second out. And Matsui retired for Holiday, who took Livan out with 2 outs to straightaway left.
Two outs in the first inning. Holiday put the Rockies on the board.
Nice, baby, nice. He scared me too, because I thought, well, I think I got enough, and then he was running so hard, that's why I was like, well, maybe not.
Burns fought the wall, and the wall won.
The wall's always going to win.
Yeah. The wall is undefeated.
Holiday, jumped on that first pitch and fouled it straight back. Strike 1 to him.
That stat right there pretty much tells you who's winning this series.
It's all about those timely hits.
2 on, 2 out. Rockies by a run. Feet to left field, 415 to center, 375 to right, 350 right down the right field line with the high wall where the scoreboard is. And Holiday pops that up right side. Tony Clark might have a play, leans in, can't get there. And Holiday gets another swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Tony kind of measures his steps as he gets over there near that railing by the camera pit. Yeah, ideally, you teach your corner infielders to get over there to the wall as quickly as possible and then make an adjustment. But the ball wasn't popped that high in the air. Tony was just trying to time it as he got to the wall and reach across to make the catch. But the ball was too far up in the stands.
And no interference, obviously, on that play. Once you go into the stands, it's fair game for the fans to go for the souvenirs. So nothing wrong with that play for the purple-clad Rockies faithful here on a rainy night. Another 1-2 pitch.
Trying to go back to that high fastball that they got Holiday to chase in the first couple games of this series. That time able to get a piece of it. Swing a little quicker tonight.
Doug Davis had success going up the ladder on Holiday.
Up and in. Craig Sager.
Well, Chip, we're changing the rules a little bit under these conditions. Livan Hernandez right there blowing in his hand to keep his hand warm. Check with the home plate umpire Larry Hanover. Got permission to do so even on the mound. Of course, during a normal game, you cannot do that once you step onto the dirt.
Got to give those pitchers something on a nasty night. Full count.
Well, it's really not that big of a factor unless you have a pitcher on the mound who is suspected of doctoring the baseball. Then anytime he goes anywhere near his mouth, there's going to be questions raised in the other dugout. But neither one of these pitchers have a reputation of putting any foreign substances on the ball or doing anything above the law of the game.
Runners will move with 2 outs and a full count. Got him with that high fastball. Inning over. We are through 3 in Denver. Rockies lead the series 2-0 and lead this game 1-0. Colorado Rockies, a single-season Major League record fielding percentage in 2007, have continued it into this postseason. They have turned 3 double plays tonight and lead by a run as we head to the 4th inning. Eric Burns will start it off. Diamondbacks had 2 on, nobody out with Burns up in the first. He lined out to the pitcher. Chris Young was doubled off second. And Burns unloads down the left field line. If that stays fair, that's got a chance, but it's foul. And it's 0-2.
Boy, as has been the case with a lot of the Diamondbacks' opportunities in this series, just foul. Not quite good enough.
Just a little bit out in front of that ball. Rocky fans not liking the fact that he's going to take his time coming back to the plate.
Everything Eric Burns does tonight is going to draw a reaction from this crowd after the comments that he made.
Does Burns really believe that, or is that a motivational ploy for the youngsters on this Arizona team?
I think it's just to get these young guys to relax. They've been solid all year long. In these first 2 games, like we talked about in the open, they just haven't really delivered with guys in scoring position. They've had opportunities. And they start out the game with 2 singles, and Burns comes up and hits the ball right on the button, and it happens to be right at Josh Fogg, and he turns a double play. I think that's what he meant when he said that, you know, we're not being outplayed. It might not be outplayed, but they're being out executed. Colorado's done a great job of driving in runs, making plays. We've seen how great defensively they are.
That's that front door slider again from Josh Fogg. That's a pitch he likes to go to in 2-strike counts after he set the hitter up away. That one stays just inside off the corner.
And Burns works the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He hit 21 homers in regular season play. And he's down on strikes. Wicked slider. Leadoff man down in the 4th inning. It may be destiny. One thing for sure, great pitching, great defense for this Colorado club all year long.
Yeah, I mean, 3 double plays, a very unconventional one in the 1st inning. So Fogger's not quite in rhythm, but he's made pitches when he's had to, and big swing of the bat from Holiday. So we'll just keep moving forward. Got a long way to go.
Yeah, when your ball club turns a lot of double plays, it's easy to give all the credit to the defenders, but the pitcher has to execute a pitch to get the batter to hit the ball where you want him to.
Oh, that's a great point. There's no doubt. I mean, you know, the pressure. Sometimes we forget the pressure's on the pitcher, and sometimes the hitter takes it upon himself to maybe get a little bit outside his zone, or who knows what happens. But you got to make good pitches to get double plays more often than not.
Clint, thank you as always.
You're welcome.
Tony Clark looks outside. That time to talk brought to you by Charles Schwab. That was Clint Hurdle, the Colorado manager. His Rockies lead this series 2-0. And Fogg indeed has been executing tonight. Little dribbler back to the mound. Should be easy. And it is. 3 double plays, fellas, in the first 3 innings.
The first unconventional one, as Clint Hurdle called it, was the line drive by Eric Burns. Very nearly turned into a triple play. Then a couple of more routine double plays. Reverse pirouette by Tulowitzki. And a rocket throw to first to complete that double play.
Matsui hadn't given Tulowitzki the greatest of feeds at second base. And Tulowitzki still managed to catch it and make the play and finish off the double play on the throw to first.
Reynolds hits a high fly ball left field and deep, and we are tied. A towering 2-out home run for the Diamondbacks. And it's 1-1 here in the 4th.
Colorado challenged Reynolds in Arizona with fastballs up in the zone, and this is a breaking ball. And look at the extension right there. You see his arms get extended, and he drives this ball to deep. I mean, that's 3/4 of the way up the stands in left field.
So that quiets this crowd, and Salazar jumps in there. He pounds one to center. Taveras back, inning over. Mark Reynolds with 17 homers in regular season play ties this game 3 with a 2-out solo home run. It's 1-1, last of the 4th. New life for the Diamondbacks, and you can imagine a bunch of celebrities commenting on all the crazy stuff going on. Now imagine all those celebrities played by one guy. You know and love him as the guy who impersonates John Madden. It's Frank TV, starring Frank Caliendo, coming November 20th to TBS. Well, fellas, is that the blow for Arizona that awakens their bats, gets them going, gets some momentum in Bob Melvin's dugout in this series?
Well, that remains to be seen. Is that the blow that will get Mark Reynolds going? He's been a very streaky hitter for the Diamondbacks this year. From September 17th to the 22nd, he had 5 consecutive multi-hit games. And then again later on, August 4th to 17th, went 20 for 43. That's a .465 batting average. When he's hot, he's really hot. When he's cold, he's ice cold.
And we don't need anybody cold on a night like tonight in Denver. It's in the 40s and still raining. The grounds crew working overtime, applying that diamond dry surface all over the infield, and they'll be busy and at it all night long tonight. We have a 1-1 game, and in the 3rd inning for Colorado, a little bit of Arizona offensive-itis struck for them. A leadoff double for Torrealba. They could not score their 2nd run in that inning.
Yeah, one of those few times where they didn't execute enough to at least get 1 run in. And Arizona got 5 hits through 4 innings. Livan Hernandez doing a nice job of keeping these Rocky hitters off balance. I think it's a positive sign for Arizona. They've been able to take some pretty good swings up there. Finally catch up on the scoreboard with the home run by Reynolds. And I think we got to be feeling pretty good about what they've been able to do offensively so far in this game, even though they've hit into 3 double plays.
And I think too, the decision to start Livan Hernandez on the road in game 3 of this series, at least to this point, Bob, paying dividends for the Diamondbacks as well. His veteran leadership, he's had runners on quite a bit tonight, but has given up just 1 run.
Now, Livan Hernandez started game 3 against the Cubs in that division series at Wrigley Field, went 6 strong innings, gave up only 5 hits and 1 run in that clinching game for the Diamondbacks at Wrigley Field.
So while we have a momentary delay, it's time to talk. Brought to you by Charles Schwab. Let's check in with Bob Melvin, the Arizona skipper. That Reynolds homer might get this Diamondback offense rolling.
Oh, he can, no doubt about it. We've seen him do it many times here. Put a good swing on it. Didn't have his best game the other day, but he's a grinder, boy. He goes out there and battles for you every day.
Well, Bob, you guys are swinging the bat very well tonight. You just kind of hit into some tough luck with these double plays.
Yeah, a little inopportune. Obviously, Burns hits the ball hard right there. Pitcher on deck, Augie hits the ball hard, 2 on the ground, and then, Steven rolls over a changeup. So, we'll keep at it. We get runners on base. We get opportunities out there. We'll come through.
All right, Bob, thanks. Stay dry tonight.
All right, we'll try.
So in a 1-1 game, Todd Helton, Atkins, and Hop up for the Rockies in the 4th inning. Helton tripled in the postseason on his first postseason pitch scene. He has just 2 hits in this postseason. In fact, is 2 for his last 21. Batting in the cleanup spot for Colorado. And fouls it away to even up the count. A ball and a strike.
Well, we made a big deal about Arizona struggling with runners in scoring position. But a big 3-4-5 for Colorado until the home run by Holiday. Atkins, Helton, and Holiday all have kind of struggled in this series too, and yet they still been able to win the first 2 games of this series. Sure, feeling like if they can get those guys going, they're going to be able to put some more runs on the board.
Just missed low and away. 3 balls and a strike. Livan Hernandez will walk his share. He is not afraid to pitch with runners all over the base paths. He walked 79, struck out 90 in his 33 starts this year. And there's a drive right field, well hit and high off the scoreboard. Helton around first. A very long single played beautifully by Salazar in right.
Well, one of the conventional ways of pitching to Todd Helton is to stay away early in the count, come in late in the count. Livan Hernandez started him with a fastball away off the plate, came back with a slider in the middle of the zone right there, fouled away. Another fastball off the plate, another fastball off the plate, tries to sneak a slider in there on the 3-1 count. Todd Helton is all over it.
And you see Salazar again getting kind of close to the wall, but able to take that ricochet off the wall and get the ball back in and hold Todd Helton to a single.
Garrett Atkins popped to center his first time up and looks outside. Ball 1.
Yeah, Chip, you mentioned that out-of-town scoreboard in right field, and Tony, you know this as well as anybody. Depending on where that ball hits, it may hit and drop straight down as the last one did. It may hit and ricochet back toward the infield. Very tough when you get that close to the wall.
See, midway between the top part of that wall is the scoreboard. The bottom, you know, is where the fans sit, and that's all netting underneath. If it hits those pillars, it's going to come flying back towards the infield. If it hits on the top on the scoreboard, a lot of times it'll drop straight down.
Fisted, shallow right field. Augie Ojeda going out. Good running, sliding catch. Did he hang on? He did hang on. What a play, Augie Ojeda.
We talked about how good his defense has been, and watch this play. He kicks this ball off his leg and is able to make the catch and still try to get rid of it and get it to first base. Ojeda ran a long way for this ball. You see it go in his glove, come out, ricochet off the leg, back into the glove, a little spin, and still try to get Todd Helton at first base.
Well, you mentioned what a big lift Ojeda has given the Diamondbacks with Orlando Hudson going on the disabled list. No errors in 43 regular season games, and he played second, short, and third for the Diamondbacks. Boy, look at this juggling act. Rolled up the left leg, popped in the air right in front of him, able to get the glove underneath the ball before it hits the turf.
So that keeps Helton at first now with 1 out for Brad Hawpe. And he hits a high fly ball to left. Not much carry to it. And 2 are out. So all of a sudden, after that home run for the Diamondbacks, they're playing with a little more spring in their steps here. And 2 are out for Troy Tulowitzki.
A couple of home runs on both sides, something we hadn't seen from either team thus far.
Yeah, no home runs in this series coming into play tonight, but of course you expect to see a few at Coors Field, no matter the weather. Fouled back by Troy Tulowitzki. He's 4 for his last 22 in postseason play.
And he's another one of those guys they'd love to see get going. Pitch counter, Livan Hernandez doing a good job tonight, changing speeds, keeping the Rockies hitters off balance.
0-2.
He made a couple of mistakes tonight. The home run by Holiday and the double there this inning by Todd Helton. But for the most part, he's done a great job keeping the Rockies hitters off balance by changing speeds, working both halves of the plate.
One ball, 2 strikes. Kind of fun to watch Montero behind the plate, isn't it?
He's a very athletic catcher, very agile, very flexible. Sometimes you'll see him set up on the outside corner, but reach his left foot back to the inside corner and pound it on the ground, trying to let the hitter know where he is, or at least let the hitter think he knows where he is. Well, that makes my knees ache just watching him.
And he did it right there. He was outside, then moved back in. Little dribbler. Reynolds at third. Bare hand stab. Throws wide of the bag, and Clark came off to save an error. Tulowitzki, an infield hit. 2 on, 2 out.
This is where the game of baseball is not fair sometimes. That pitch was thrown exactly where Montero wanted it. A slider below the knees off the outside corner. Tulowitzki rolled over, hit that easy tapper to the left side. With 2 strikes, Reynolds had backed up into an extremely deep position. Makes a nice effort, but no chance to get Tulowitzki at first.
So another roller rolls the Rockies' way in this series. Let's see if Torrealba can cash in a 2-out run scoring opportunity in the 4th. He hit a shot to straightaway center field, leading off that 3rd inning, a long double.
I think if Torrealba's going to do any damage right here, he's going to have to go out of the strike zone. I don't think Livan Hernandez is going to give him anything to hit with Josh Fogg in the on-deck circle.
Tom Hallion said he went. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that's what Livan's going to do. He's going to make you hit his pitch if you decide to swing. And this is a slider that starts in the zone and runs out. See Torrealba try to hold back, but takes the swing.
And again, off the plate. The pitcher, Josh Fogg, waits next. Three balls and a strike.
And this is the very definition of a pitch around right here. If you want to chase some of those bad pitches out of the strike zone and get to a 2-strike count, maybe I'll try to get you out. But otherwise, I'm content just to let you run down to first base, take my chances with the opposing pitcher.
Ground ball toward third. Reynolds has an easy play, and the inning is over. What a grab, a juggling act by Augie Ojeda at second base. The Rockies fail to score in a 1-1 game heading to the 5th.
The National League Championship Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American Revolution.
Well, the rain has all but stopped in Denver. It's just misting at the moment as we move along to inning number 5 in game 3. 1-1 your score. Miguel Montero, Augie Ojeda, and Livan Hernandez are up. And the pitch popped into center field. Taveras drifting back. He's got it. And one man is down. TBS is available in high definition. Call your local cable or satellite provider. Here's Augie Ojeda hitting to a double play with 2 on, 1 out in the second, and moments ago, as we showed you, made that great catch in shallow right. Pitch count for Livan Hernandez and Josh Fogg, very reasonable. The next will be his 50th. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that's a changeup from Josh Fogg. He'll throw that pitch in any count to any hitter. Started Ojeda with a changeup, missed away, comes right back with another one at the edge of the outside corner for a swinging strike.
Nice play at third by Atkins. There's that Rocky defense.
What do you have to do if you're a Diamondback hitter? I mean, Ojeda hits this ball hard. 1 hop. Atkins lays out, makes the play, gets up. Strong throw to first. Again, Diamondbacks are hitting the ball solid. Putting some good at-bats together, but the Rockies' defense has been tremendous.
They might want to count the black shirts out there, make sure there are 10 or 11 guys out there. They've been everywhere. And Livan Hernandez, told you, a good hitting pitcher, has a 2-out hit.
Talked about Livan Hernandez. You make a mistake in the middle of the plate, you see that ball's in the middle of the plate, and he lines it right back up the middle. Nice swing by Livan Hernandez. Didn't try to do too much with it. Went right back where it came from.
Boy, and had those eyes right down the barrel of the bat, tracking that ball all the way to contact.
So Chris Young, a big-time power threat, already on base twice tonight. Hits with 2 outs in the 5th. 32 home runs, only 68 RBIs for Young. Even count.
Fogg has done a nice job tonight, locating, especially when guys got on base. He's been able to make the pitch he needed to make. Whether it was a changeup or a fastball or slider.
The Diamondbacks have led for a grand total of 5 hitters in this series. They led 1-0 in game 1. They're tied 1-1 here in game 3. Young couldn't pull the trigger. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 caught inside corner, inning over. Bottom of the 5th inning in Denver.
Trying to enjoy it, but at the same time we realize that we've got work to do.
Every pitch matters.
It's going to be a tough task against a good Arizona team.
Ugly night, but a beautiful ball game through 4.5. Chip, Bob, Tony, Craig Sager back at Coors Field. 2 home runs. That's all the offense.
Both pitchers pitching well. I mean, both of them made one mistake, and they gave up home runs, but been able to pitch themselves out of jams, and it's really turned into a pretty good game so far.
Livan Hernandez to Josh Fogg. He rolls it to third. Easy play for Reynolds, and that takes care of the Colorado pitcher. 1 pitch and 1 man out. Log on to TBS Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner and watch exclusive online live coverage of postseason action and play Sonic Live game trivia powered by Nano Gaming. Here's Taveras. He's tried to bunt twice. And he is 0 for 2. Key play in this game was that third inning bunt attempt by Taveras. He bunted back to Livan Hernandez, who whirled and fired to third, forcing Yorvit Torrealba for the first out in that third inning. Tries to bunt again, and again it's rolled foul. A lot of consternation here in Denver when Clint Hurdle added Taveras to the LCS roster. I would say his faith in Taveras, guys, has been rewarded.
No question about it. Clint Hurdle told us before the ball game he likes that element of speed at the top of the order. The only question was, is Taveras at 100%? And I don't think there's any doubt the way he's run the bases, the way he's fielded his position in this series. He is feeling real good.
And I still don't know how he caught that ball in game 2. The drive off the bat of Tony Clark. He was way around in left center field down at Chase Field. And he ran about 60 yards on a dead run and made an unbelievably miraculous catch.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle said it was a fast guy running as fast as he could run and then laid out to make the catch. There was nothing controlled about it whatsoever.
He was shading Clark to left center. And you see, he was on a dead run and went left to bat. You didn't think he could get there, but sure enough, see him lay out and make that play.
And if he doesn't get that ball, Eric Burns probably comes around, scores, ties that game 2-2.
I thought it was interesting talking to Bob Melvin before the game. He said when that ball went in the air, he picked up the right fielder because he didn't think there was any chance for Taveras to get there. He was watching the right fielder, Brad Hott, but Taveras came streaking out of nowhere to make the play.
Popped up right side. Tony Clark, foul ground, plenty of room. 2 out. And the rain, as the forecasters predicted, will be intermittent all night long. And the grounds crew is going to work overtime. You can see the warning tracks from foul pole toward the home plate area and back out toward the left field line, starting to puddle up and collect the rainwater now. Greg Sager had a great report at the start of the game telling you about the pumping action of this drainage system at Coors Field. Really have seen, guys, no evidence of any problems for the fielders tonight.
Haven't even seen anybody lose their footing on the infield or the outfield.
So Kaz Matsui with 2 outs, looking for his first base hit tonight. Was a very big performer for the Rockies in their sweep of the Phillies, including a grand slam. Was one single shy of hitting for the cycle in that series.
He was huge in the Phillies series. And that bat right there, that grand slam was huge. He's been good in this series. A couple of base hits.
Left side foul. Matsui swings again. 0-2.
Looks like Livan is just not going to even let Matsui think about getting the ball inside. He's kept the ball away from Matsui every time up. Hadn't been afraid to elevate the fastball away.
One ball, 2 strikes. Matsui was a big-time star in Japan with the Seibu Lions. A perennial all-star over there, a Gold Glove fielding infielder. Came to the Mets. Really struggled in New York, but has flourished here in Denver. Cues that ball foul to stay alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Again, off the end of the bat. Matsui out in front of it, really just trying to stay alive, just trying to foul it off to get something, hopefully something better.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Livan Hernandez up to 75 pitches now tonight. Little ground ball to short. Drew up, has to hurry, and didn't get it. Matsui beats it out. And while Drew watches that play very alertly, Chris Young comes in from center to guard second, just in case Matsui thought about a big left turn.
Matsui almost running as he makes contact with this ball, kind of coming out of that batter's box as he makes contact. Drew knew he had to hurry. Got to it quickly, unleashed a strong throw. Oh, Rockies caught a break there.
He was out. Big break. But Tom Hallion called him safe, and the reason that's a huge play, Holiday, who's already homered, up with a man on, and 2 outs. Once again, a break goes Colorado's way. We'll see if they cash it in.
I was just going to say that ground ball that Matsui hit, that grass just ate that ball up. Drew knew he needed to hurry. And it just went to a crawl.
Back to the screen for a strike.
Well, Craig Sager was telling us about the length of the infield grass before the ball game even started, and with the amount of rain that's fallen during the game, it's even slower, but very close. But Matsui out there at first base. Bad call by Tom Hallion.
No balls and a strike to Holiday. In the air to right and playable for Salazar, and Livan Hernandez pitches around the mistake at first. Stephen Drew had a red-hot division series. He'll lead off inning number 6, tied at 1. Two, 3, and 4 coming up for Arizona in inning number 6. A 1-1 game. 2 solo homers. The scoring result to this point in Game 3 of our National League Championship Series. Just 58 pitches now for Josh Fogg. He's benefited from 3 double plays turned behind him tonight. And he misses outside ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Drew's 3 for 10 in this series, was 7 for 14 against the Cubs. And works it to 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. Eric Burns waits next. It's 3-1. Josh Fogg this year earned the nickname the Dragon Slayer. He beat Curt Schilling, beat Mike Mussina, beat Brandon Webb, and Drew beats that ball into right field, a leadoff single. So a good start for the Diamondbacks, looking for their 2nd lead of this series. And now Eric Burns is coming up, and here is the inside info on the Dragon Slayer, Josh Fogg.
A lot of times we in the media want to make a big deal out of the opposing pitchers in a ball game, and most of the time they'll tell you, I'm not really worried about the pitcher, I'm worried about the lineup I'm pitching against. But you can see some of the teams and pitchers that Josh Fogg defeated this year.
So Burns up with a chance to move Drew along here. And he takes low and outside. Burns hit a line drive rocket back to the mound that turned into a 1st inning double play. Nearly hit a solo home run in the 4th inning, pulled it foul, then took a called 3rd strike. So he is 0 for 2. And the more and more I see this series unfold, I think Eric Burns might have a point about the breaks.
Just doesn't seem to be getting any.
Did he go? Nope, there's a break maybe. 2 balls, no strikes.
Like the ball he hit in the first inning. He's ahead in the count, 1-0. I think he was able to hold back. So the team is even. You're ahead in the count, 2-0. And he had some opportunities in game 2 to do some damage.
There's a strike as the Rockies bullpen now starts to go to work.
Well, as good as Josh Fogg has been tonight, his history the last couple of years has been a 5- or 6-inning pitcher at best. Clint Hurdle not going to take any chances. As good as he's been up to this point, he wants to make sure he's got that bullpen ready to go should the Diamondbacks continue this inning.
Spire picked up his first big league save in game 2, as Clint Hurdle said, just the way we drew it up down in Phoenix. So he could be called upon here in inning number 6 of a 1-1 game, game 3. Popped him up. Burns reaching for that ball is going to be out number 1.
Let's take a look at the sequence Eric Burns got right here. Here's Josh Fogg. Sinker for a ball. Another one for a ball. Nice job by Burns staying back. That's paint. 2-0, wasn't looking for that. Now a changeup. 2-1, and you saw Burns out in front. And really, that's what both of these guys, both of these pitchers will do to you in those fastball hitting camps. They like to take a little bit of change speeds on you, and if you don't hold your ground, you know, they're going to be a tough guy for you to handle.
I think it's interesting. Both managers in the first 2 games of this series talked about their pitchers trying to avoid predictable counts. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, where a hitter can pretty much be assured he's going to get a fastball to hit. Well, these pitchers tonight, there is no such thing as a predictable count for either one of these guys. They're liable to throw any pitch in any count to any hitter.
And Tony Clark, the batter, 2 for 12 in the postseason. Clark hit 17 home runs in regular season play. The Diamondbacks would love to see him park one here and put him up by 2. Outside corner, called strike. Tony had some great years over in the American League with the Tigers. And after a subpar year in 2004 with the Yankees, came to the Diamondbacks in 2005 and hit 30. And was especially good this year off the bench for Bob Melvin. But getting the start tonight against the right-hander, Josh Fogg of Colorado.
Tony Clark really, I guess you could say, along with Reynolds, are their 2 power threats in this lineup. Tony Clark took a ball the other night that was out over the plate and lined it in right center, and Taveras ran it down. And again, just like Eric Burns, it looks like the Rockies are not going to make a mistake inside.
Over but low. 3 balls, 1 strike.
As a hitter, this is where your patience is really tested. You know that they're not coming in. If you're Tony Clark, you're standing up there, you know they're not coming in. It's 3-1. Now, are you going to be willing to look for a ball out over the plate?
Drew, a lead, go. Swing, little dribbler right side. Helton will have but 1 play. Runner at second now, 2 outs for Reynolds, who homered last time up. And here is your pitchers comparison. Fogg and Livan Hernandez into inning number 6.
I think any team going into the postseason feels pretty good about their chances with their number 1 and 2 pitchers on the mound, but number 3 is matching up pretty good here tonight.
And again, Fogg, even though he's had trouble in his last handful of starts in this ballpark, he did get the assignment for them in game 163 and kept it close enough to give Colorado a chance to win. Not impressive numbers, but kept him in the game.
And that's, you know, that's all you can ask. Just like tonight's game, both guys are giving their teams opportunities.
Reynolds didn't chase that high first pitch. 1 ball, no strikes.
And you would anticipate another pitch around situation here unless Fogg happens to get ahead in the count. Rockies have a base open at first base. The dangerous Mark Reynolds at the plate. We've talked about how a streaky hitter he is, what a streaky hitter he is, and you don't want to give him an opportunity to get on a hot streak.
Took a shot at right field. And it's well out of play, foul. A tape measure shot tied the game in the 4th.
I'm really surprised that he's getting some breaking balls. They tied him up in game 2 with fastballs, and he's hit 2 balls pretty good. Both of them breaking balls. And I would suspect if they're not going to give him anything to hit here, it's going to be with, you know, stuff, breaking balls off the plate, fastballs up in the zone.
Drew at second now. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Just a pitch he can't seem to lay off of. He had trouble with the ball, though. Jimenez for a 97-98 up there. This time swings through an 87 up around the letters.
The outfield again very deep. A little blooper could score a run here with 2 strikes and 2 outs.
That serves a dual purpose for the fans. It tries to rally their team and also dries off those wet towels. Waving them in the air the way they are. The rain continuing to fall.
National League Championship Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American revolution, and by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Big inning coming up for Livan Hernandez in a 1-1 game. Middle of the Colorado order is coming up. Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball. Together we create a positive place for kids. Todd Helton has struck out and has singled. So he is 1 for 2. Arizona's out hit the Rockies 7-5. And the first to Helton well off the plate. First time Helton has played in the postseason this year. And Todd was so excited about that opportunity, not just for himself and his teammates, but this city. Guys, they have waited a long time to get back into postseason play. Last time they were in it, 1995. When the Atlanta Braves played them and beat them in 4 games that year. That was when Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, Andres Galarraga, and Vinny Castilla, the Blake Street Bombers, were wailing away at the plate.
I think especially how quick it happened too, because middle of September there was some thought that they might not be able to make it. And they put together this run and they went from 4th place to winning the wild card to winning the series, their first series, and now have a 2-0 lead in this game.
Helton walks to lead off the 6th inning. Second walk by Livan Hernandez tonight.
Now Garrett Atkins comes to the plate, and he, like a lot of these Rocky hitters, especially here at home, the numbers in parentheses are what they've done in the postseason. And as you can see, 97 hits to the left side of the diamond, 38 and 31 middle and the other way, and this is an opportunity with all that room out there. Take a shot at
left center field, but Young will track it down.
Never mind.
Never mind. He hacked away at the first pitch, hit it hard, but Young, like Willie Taveras, can cover a whole lot of ground out there in center. Good play.
Atkins was right on that and lined it into left center. Give you an idea how cold it is. You see Chris Young got that scarf over his ears, trying to keep that throwing hand warm by tucking it under his arm.
And Angel Hernandez in at the mound to check with Livan Hernandez just to make sure the mound was okay. And Livan said no problem. So on we continue with Brad Hawpe 0 for 2. One ball, no strikes. This town in Denver has gone Rockies crazy. Everywhere you go downtown, Rockies banners, people wearing the purple replica jerseys, that mountain-laden batting helmets. Line drive right field. Helton will take the turn and stop there. First and second with one out. So now this big crowd a chance to make some more noise here with Tulowitzki up.
Sometimes you have to adjust your swing in mid-pitch. That time Hawpe able to really extend his swing, get out there around that changeup and hook it back to right field for a base hit.
It's a pretty good pitch by Livan Hernandez. That changeup out where he wanted it, down and away. Strong enough to hook it into right field.
So the fans want to get warm. They'll start to stand and twirl those towels for Tulowitzki. Here's 1 for 2. Young and Salazar all throw pretty well in that Arizona outfield. Young gets a big lead as Tulowitzki pops it back toward us. Strike 1. 1-1 is the score. Matt Holliday hit a solo homer with 2 out in the first. Mark Reynolds a solo homer with 2 out in the fourth for Arizona, tied it. Livan Hernandez has only 1 1-2-3 inning in this game, but on he battles here in the 6th.
Pitching with runners on base is nothing new to Livan. Still keeps his composure, still tries to make a quality pitch.
A floater, dribbled foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, it's not surprising that he pitched carefully around Helton in this inning. We told you that coming into play tonight, Helton was 32 for 66 against him in his career. And that experience that you're talking about, Tony, might as well take the bat out of Helton's hands.
We know he knows that Helton's hit him pretty good. And he's certainly not going to make a mistake and let Helton hit it out of the ballpark. He made a pretty good pitch to Atkins. He lined out. Hawpe hit a pretty good changeup down and away. You see Tulowitzki's 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Yeah, he feels like he can make a pitch.
Both bullpens now are busy. Pitch number 90 for Hernandez. Pena, the righty. Slayton, the lefty. Tulowitzki now a 2-2 count with 2 on, 1 out. Strike three inside corner. Levon took a page out of Josh Fogg's playbook. 2 out.
Boy, he threw the whole arsenal at him in that at bat. First pitch fastball at 83 miles an hour, up and in. He misses a spot. You see the catcher slides outside. He throws it up and in. Misses away with a fastball. This is a pitch you'll see a couple times a game. The big, slow curveball misses up high and away with a fastball. And then the front door slider that's been a real good pitch, as you mentioned, for Josh Fogg in this ballgame for strike three. Now that big balloon curveball, sometimes it'll register in the high 50s. That one is 60 miles an hour. The third pitch of the sequence from Livan Hernandez.
So Tulowitzki's struggles with men in scoring position continue. Here's Torrealba, who nearly homered his first time up. Again, the clarion call for Arizona. Somebody, anybody, offensively. This Arizona pitching staff has done a very good job of containing, I think it's fair to say, this Rocky offense. And again tonight.
I think it's very fair.
Breaking ball low, evens up the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Spilborghs would bat for Fogg if Torrealba can keep inning number 6 alive. Hernandez takes his sweet time, and Torrealba has enough of that. He'll walk away. A little gamesmanship here in inning number 6. Oh man, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
58-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
That's a double clutch here. 1 tap. Can't throw a ball that slow. He can't stay back. He knows if he does pull the trigger on that, he's not going to have very much on it. That's a tip of the cap to Livan Hernandez. A quality pitch.
Does he dare pitch inside to Torrealba like he did Tulowitzki here? Upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Question. I think Livan has a plan. He has an idea of what he wants to do and how he wants to get Torrealba out.
Well, some pitchers are known for working in and out, other pitchers up and down. Livan can do it all. When he's got his good command, he works to all 4 corners of the zone and out of the zone.
Just missed the outside corner. Now the runners can go on a wet track in Denver. 3-2, 2 outs, 2 on, tie game. And Montero wants to make sure.
Especially with a crafty veteran like Todd Helton on at second base, he's had an opportunity to stand out there and see the sequence of signs that Montero's been calling. No sense taking any chances whatsoever that Helton may be relaying pitch or location to that hitter.
The steady drizzle all day long and all game long.
See, Montero doesn't even get a sign.
Breaking ball, he fought it off.
Nice job by Torrealba, staying alive. See, watch how far his upper body gets out in front. And that's really all he has left. He's not going to be able to drive that ball, and so all he's trying to do is just slap that ball to right field.
Now he may have him set up for that slider inside.
Again, the runners. Helton at second. Harp at first. Swing drive, left field deep. Burns going back. The ball is out of here. He came in, he went out, and it's a 4-1 Colorado game.
And it was that front door slider trying to start it right at Torrealba, nip the inside corner, but that pitch catches a little bit too much plate. Line drive home run into the bleachers in left field.
A little bit different thing. Upper body staying behind the swing there.
So Josh Fogg leads with the lead. 4-1, sixth inning. Ninth two-out run scored by the Rockies in this series. After the curtain call, Baker digs in. Outside corner, a strike. Baker getting his first plate appearance in this National League Championship Series. He had the decisive hit in the clincher against the Phillies. A pinch hit single to right that won the game for Colorado. Broken back single to left. So Bob Melvin has ridden Livan Hernandez as long as he can tonight. A leadoff walk, a line out to center, a hop single, a Tulowitzki strikeout, and a great at bat by Jorvit Torrealba, culminating in a 3-run homer. Then the Jeff Baker pinch hit single chases Livan Hernandez, and it's Rocktober indeed at Coors Field. 4-1. Colorado in front and still hitting in this sixth inning. Then and now, presented by AIG. Live longer, retire stronger. Never outlive your money with AIG. Let's take a look at our broadcast partner, Tony Gwynn. 20 years, 3,141 hits, a lifetime .338 hitter, a 15-time All-Star. Tony Gwynn, the newest member of baseball's Hall of Fame this year. 8 batting titles, including a .370 or better batting average in 3 different seasons. Tony Gwynn then, Tony Gwynn now.
A lot grayer now.
Well, you're a manager. You're supposed to be a little bit
well,
gray.
I could kind of understand how Bob Melvin feels. I mean, Livan Hernandez, kind of walking a tightrope all night, but able to work himself out of jams. He makes one bad mistake on a breaking ball to Torrealba, and he hits it out of the ballpark and go from an even game to being down 3 runs. And so, sometimes it's, that much. A game is decided sometimes by missing a spot by that much, and that ball broke back in the middle of the plate.
And Bobby, we talked during that at bat about Josh Fogg getting outs over that inner half. Torrealba's the man that's been calling for that pitch. He might have been thinking right along with Livan Hernandez in that spot.
Well, that's not a pitch that Livan uses a lot. He's more likely to try to paint the outside corner with a backdoor sinker, or we've seen the big slow breaking ball, the straight changeup. That front door slider that Josh Fogg has used so effectively tonight is not a pitch that Livan normally would use.
Well, it certainly cost him dearly. A 3-run homer has the Rockies in command now, 4-1 in Game 3 here in Denver. As you take a peek at Tony Pena, who's been extremely impressive out of the Arizona bullpen. 6 strikeouts, no walks in 5 innings for Pena. So the Colorado battery of Fogg and Torrealba enjoying things right now. But guys, you know, no matter the weather, no matter the temperature, no lead is safe at Coors Field.
As long as you have outs left in this ballpark, you have a chance.
So here's Taveras. He's tried to bunt 3 separate times tonight. He's 0 for 3 as Pena delivers some heat on a cold night.
I don't think you'll see any pitches in the 50s from Tony Pena.
No, I don't think so either.
So Livan Hernandez, 5 2/3 innings, 4 runs so far. And it's even to Taveras. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks. And now the Rockies have out hit Arizona 8-7. All 8 of those hits. Livan Hernandez's responsibility. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner goes, huge jump.
Well, you had that right. Baker had a huge jump. Taveras felt like he got a pitch that he could do something with.
Personally, I'll never understand why a hitter swings at this pitch. You're going to have a runner in scoring position here. Even if you take that pitch for a called strike, you still have an opportunity to drive in a run if Baker steals that bag.
Now that Baker has run, he's alerted Pena that he will run when Pena throws over to first.
One ball, 2 strikes. Off his thumbs, we'll do it again. Paints the outside corner, but a Colorado Rocky Mountain High in this 6th inning. Jordan Torrealba unloads a 3-run blast to left. We are through 6. Rockies lead it 4-1 in Game 3. This magical run for the Colorado Rockies indeed could continue tonight. They've won 19 of 20, and they're winning again tonight as we check out our Zantac relief pitching profile. Heartburn, attack it. Zantac, the Rockies bullpen this postseason, guys. Look at that. Less than a run a game.
Nothing. Just done a great job. And Josh Fogg gave him 6 strong innings, only gave up 1 run, and now Rick Hurdle's going to try to, weave his way to the 8th and 9th inning where he could use Fuentes and Corpus.
So they are believing here at Coors Field, and we believe in Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Chip, normally at the bottom of the 6th inning, the grounds crew will go out and they will drag the infield, but they've gotten word from the umpiring crew that they want more of this pro-choice gravel put on with the wheelbarrows on the field and the infield. So far, it's been holding up pretty good. However, I must tell you, they've gone through over 95 bags, and the supply is running very low.
Uh-oh. Well, the grounds crew tonight's done an excellent job. We've seen, as Bob mentioned, no slipping, no sliding at all. Field's drained well, and the umpires have done a good job of calling these guys out to make sure that the field of play is fair for everybody.
Been out there pretty much every half inning. Some turf is down. Doing some work around the bases.
And of course, if Colorado holds on to this 4-1 lead, they would have a 3-0 series lead and would have a chance for a sweep tomorrow night. We'll be on the air at 10 o'clock Eastern time for the 4th game of this series. Micah Owings is scheduled to pitch for Arizona. And the Colorado club rolling again at home. We'll turn to Franklin Morales, a very talented young left-hander. Over in the American League, Game 3 of that series continues tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. The Red Sox visit Jacobs Field in Cleveland. What a marathon last night. An 11-inning, 5+ hour affair at Fenway Park, won by the Indians. And they will go to Game 3 at the Jake. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver at the microphones on the Fox Television Network. Here, Justin Upton will lead off the 7th inning in place of Salazar. So it's Upton and Affeldt in a 4-1 Colorado game.
If you're Arizona, Justin Upton, your job to get on base. However you can, get on that bag and give your team an opportunity. Start whittling away at this deficit.
That's in for a strike. But again, guys, we talked about it in the open. This game, again, a story for Arizona offensively. What could have been? 2 on, nobody out, 1st inning, double play. 2nd inning, 2 on, 1 out, double play. 3rd inning, a 1-out walk to Young. Drew hits him to double play.
That's what happens sometimes, you know, especially early in this game. They're putting some hits on the board. Josh Fogg was able to get a ground ball when he needed it. And Troy Tulowitzki able to turn the double play. Couple of tough feeds by Matsui, but
I think going into this ball game, we all thought this would be an offensive game with the number 3 starters going for each team. Both guys pitch to contact. They don't try to strike out a lot of hitters. And in this ballpark, it figured to be a high-scoring game. Now, the Rockies' hits have come at more opportune times for them. Diamondbacks haven't been able to come up with that big one when they need it once again.
Upton takes low, ball 3, 3 balls, 2 strikes. We showed you the graphic. If there is a pitcher that has struggled a bit in these playoffs for the Rockies, it's Affeldt. Three-two pitch to short. Tulowitzki takes a look, high throw, and Helton held the bag. Tulowitzki only 11 errors in the regular season with a cannon at short.
Looked like he bobbled this ball slightly when he made the play, but with that strong throwing arm, and Todd Helton, for my money, stretches as good as any first baseman that's ever played the game and stays on the bag. Goes up the ladder there to take that high throw, keeping his toe on the bag the whole time. We saw him earlier in the ball game shift into foul territory to take a wide throw and get the out at first base. Very subtle thing, but a good first baseman can save you a lot of infield hits.
But man, he's got to check the webbing with Tulowitzki firing over there at short. Montero bats. Checked his swing, perhaps. Yes, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Very emphatic call by Jim Joyce down at 3rd base. Whoa.
Close.
Back up the middle. Matsui to his right. Off balance, gets his man. These Rockies are everywhere.
Good, nice work by Matsui. This ball goes up the middle. See him off balance throw. Plenty of time. Hilton with a nice stretch over there.
The book on Matsui is he's always had good range to his left. Not so good going up the middle of the field. And you notice he got in front of that ball. He didn't make a backhanded play. That's something he's trying to improve on. Make those backhanded plays when necessary.
But no trouble getting the catcher for the 2nd out in this 7th inning, and Augie Ojeda's up. He hit into a critical double play in the second and was robbed by Garrett Atkins at third. Back in inning number 5. On the positive side of things, Ojeda made a circus catch defensively in tonight's early innings. He pushes a bunt to the right side. Affeldt underhand grab. 1, 2, 3 and out as we stretch in Denver. They're going crazy at Coors. 4-1 Rockies leader. We are back in Denver with Bob Brenly, with Tony Gwynn, with Craig Sager, Chip Caray. Bottom of the 7th inning. The Rockies lead it 4-1. Here is tonight's Dr. Scholl's game summary. Bottom of the 1st inning. Matt Holliday, a solo home run, made it 1-0. That came with 2 outs. Mark Reynolds, who struggled so mightily early in this series, tied it with a solo blast deep into the night. 1-1 in the 4th inning. But your Torrealba in the 6th inning with 2 outs, a 3-run shot, and a curtain call to boot as the Rockies now lead 4-1 and look for a 3-0 series lead. Josh Fogg, the Dragon Slayer they call him, might have slayed Livan Hernandez tonight. Livan 5 2/3 innings of 8-hit baseball. Fogg just 1 run tonight.
Fogg was outstanding. He made 1 mistake. Reynolds hit it out of the ballpark. See 7 hits, only 1 run. That's exactly what his team wanted him to do, was put them in a position where they could win this game. He's done exactly that.
So Bob Melvin knows he cannot afford to give Colorado any more runs now, because in the 8th and 9th inning you've got Fuentes and Corpus waiting. So the 2, 3, 4 spots up in the 7th. Doug Slayton on to pitch. Upton remains in the game in right.
And with Matsui a switch hitter in the 2 spot in the order, Clint Hurdle has that military lineup tonight. Right, left, right, left, right, left. It makes it really tough to play the matchups if you're the opposing manager and have a lineup like that to deal with.
Matsui 1 for 3. And from the right side looks at a quick strike. Game 4 here tomorrow night. Owings and Morales. Will the Rockies be going for a sweep, or will Arizona be going for win number 2?
And will Bob Melvin stick to his plan to stay away from Brandon Webb? Micah Owings, a scheduled starter for game 4 tomorrow, but if that's a must win or go home game, we'll see if he changes his mind.
Nothing in 2, your count. And Matsui just stays alive. Webb pitched game 1, gave up 4 runs, 7 hits in 6 innings of work, but really did have to work as Colorado's very patient approach really drove the pitch count up early against Brandon Webb. So inquiring minds want to know, will he get the ball tomorrow? Reynolds at third. 1 down. Again, we join Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, I told you earlier that the supply of crushed gravel that they were applying to the infield was running very low. Well, guess what? They ran out. So Mark Rasman made phone calls all over town, from the Broncos to the dog track, trying to locate some. Finally, they found 40 bags of crushed gravel at a warehouse. They delivered it during the 7th inning stretch. It's not exactly the same, but it will work.
Thank you, Craig. Great job reporting tonight in tough conditions.
An emergency call to all the pet owners in Colorado.
Here's Holliday.
I would bet they're going to need some more of that stuff too.
Well, the weather forecast was nasty weather tonight. The front will clear out later on this evening, and much better weather, albeit cool weather, tomorrow and the rest of the week here in Denver. The concern was, obviously, if you start this game and the weather really gets nasty, both teams potentially could lose their starters with a day off built in after Game 4 of this series. But we do have an official game, and while the wet stuff has been consistent, it hasn't been all that bad. Holiday will leg it out. How many infield hits does Colorado have in this series?
Well, here's one more. One hopper back through the box, gets a piece of Slayton, just trickles over on the right side of the infield. Ojeda was moving up the middle of the field to make a potential play. When the ball hits the pitcher, it ricochets back to his left. Tries to make the barehanded play. I don't believe they would have had Holiday anyhow.
I've got him for 5 infield hits in 3 games. Here's Helton. In the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, Holiday's got a couple. He had the ball in Arizona that bounced foul and came back fair. And now that one. Sometimes that's just, you make a pretty good pitch. See Holiday or Slayton trying to get the dirt out of his shoes. You make a pretty good pitch, takes a pretty good swing, does a good job of putting it in play. Ricochets and he ends up getting a base hit.
One ball, 1 strike.
Well, I really think Todd Helton against a left-handed pitcher looks breaking ball. He takes some vicious cuts at breaking balls that stay in the strike zone against left-handed pitching. It's frozen with a fastball in the outside corner right there.
In Rockies history coming into this 2007 season, Helton was 2nd in batting average to Larry Walker, 1st in run scores, 1st in multi-hit games, 1st in homers, 1st in hits, 2nd in slugging percentage. As that one gets through Montero, late break by Holiday, and he'll take 2nd.
Well, ahead in the count 1-2. Slayton wants to bury a breaking ball, try to get Helton to chase, and Montero, you can see, he came up with the glove, creating that 5-hole underneath the glove between the legs. The ball just gets a little bit behind Montero. Holiday hesitated initially and then motors on into second base.
Two won't be made. Helton this year 178 hits. He'll enter the 2008 season with 1,878 of them. And talk about sometimes the best trades you make are the ones you don't. There was talk that Todd Helton was going to go to the Boston Red Sox. I think Dan O'Donnell's happy he didn't make that deal. He's made plenty of good ones without trading Helton this year. Over the outside corner, he got the breaking ball but could not offer. There's your 2nd out. And you know the guy who does that killer John Madden impersonation on NFL Sunday? If you don't, you haven't been paying attention. His name is Frank Caliendo, and he has a new show that will literally change the face of late night. See the all-new Comedy Frank TV coming November 20th to TBS. So Atkins will not be allowed to face Slayton. They'll intentionally walk the Colorado third baseman, set up 2 on 2 out.
Brad Hopp, the on-deck hitter, has had some problems against left-handed pitching. At least he did during the regular season. Hit only .214 against the lefties, .315 against right-handed pitching.
Boy, Hopp's had some big hits already in this series. 2-run single that knocked in a with the blowout runs, the 3 and the 3rd and 4th runs in game 1.
And this is one of the things that makes this Colorado offense so tough. You decide to pitch around Atkins with 2 outs. You then feast your eyes even in a lefty-lefty situation with Hawk, who did that this year in National League play.
Even though he's left-handed, facing a left-handed pitcher, he's seen enough of him. He's still capable of doing some damage.
Just foul.
With all that diamond dry on the field, it's getting a little tough to pick up ground balls through the infield. That one just does hook foul past the bag. Tony Clark with an assist for Tom Hallion down there at first base.
2 on, 2 out. Way high, evens it up. First ever postseason game in the history of the Rockies. October 3rd, 1995. Braves beat them 5-4. 50,040 saw it here at Coors Field. Two balls and a strike. Win tonight for the Rockies extends this historic run. They could go to 20-1 in their last 21 games.
20-1.
And unbeaten in postseason play. 3 balls and a strike. Another bag one loads him up for Tulowitzki. Three balls, 2 strikes.
Not a bad take by Brad Hawpe right there with 2 outs. Count goes to full now. The runners will be on the move.
They're loaded. Arizona's bullpen has been working. And Slayton will not be allowed to face Tulowitzki. So Slayton goes 2/3 of an inning. 1 hit. A couple of walks, one of them intentional. Bases full of Rockies again in inning number 7. Two changes for the Diamondbacks. Colorado has the bases loaded yet again, leading 4-1 here in game 3. Jeff Cirillo into play second base. He'll replace Augie Ojeda. Go back 9th when we go to the 8th inning. On the pitch. Right-hander Dustin Nipper. He wants to make sure he can go to the mouth on a cold, cold night at Coors Field.
See those numbers. 1-1 and opponent's hitting 267 and looking to get out of this inning.
Tulowitzki, a big swing.
Boy, he has excelled in these situations this season. Troy Tulowitzki, a .478 hitter with the bases loaded. .455 with 2 outs and the bases loaded. .500 with less than 2 outs and the bases loaded.
So go get him, Dustin.
Good luck.
Tulowitzki, an infield hit. But down 0-2. In inning number 8, Cirillo, Young, and Drew are coming up for the Diamondbacks. You figure Fuentes will come on for the 8th.
Well, he's the only one throwing in the Rocky bullpen right now. That's the formula for the Rockies in the 8th and 9th inning. Fuentes to Corpus.
Way high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There are your runners. Holiday, Atkins, Hop. Tulowitzki up with a 1-2 count. Pops him up. Cirillo out. Upton in. And the inning is over. We go to the 8th inning. Fuentes on in a 4-1 game.
We feel it more for the fans and more for the city. That's probably why it makes it so special.
This incredible Colorado run now goes to inning number 8. They're up 4-1. And left-hander Brian Fuentes on for the 9-1-2 spots for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We talked in our open again about how unconventionally this Colorado team has played when you compare their style of play to the perception of how they play. They have not hit a lot of home runs in this series. In fact, they've hit just 2. Both of them have come tonight. Their defensive work, best in Major League history, and continued tonight. But guys, I don't think there's been enough talk about how well they have pitched all year and in this postseason. They had a 4.32 ERA in regular season play. They've given up 2.5 runs fewer per game in the postseason.
It's been outstanding. And again, we saw an example of that tonight. Josh Fogg, 6 innings, only 1 run. And they've done it a bunch of different ways. I mean, the pitching and the defense have been constant so far in this series. Tonight they've played a little long ball and counted for all 4 of the Rockies' runs, but pitching and defense has been outstanding.
So Jeff Cirillo's up. Colorado plays even with the bag over at third. Remember, Cirillo back in Phoenix did have a bunt hit. Fuentes was the Colorado closer. Then had a dreadful stretch during a 1-9 Rocky road trip. Got injured, went to the disabled list, and Manny Corpus came on and won the closer's job. That moved Fuentes back when healthy into the 8th inning, and this Rocky bullpen hasn't stopped sizzling since. As Cirillo goes the other way with a leadoff hit in inning number 8. Now the top of the order up for the Diamondbacks. And as Bob mentioned, as long as you have outs, you have life in this ballpark.
That's a nice job by Jeff Cirillo taking this ball out over the plate and going the other way with it. See him back that ball up nicely and hit the ball to right field. So the Diamondbacks have a leadoff runner on. Hoping to get something going.
Cirillo now 2 hits in the series. Maybe he'll get a call to start Game 4. We'll see with the left-hander on the mound. Here's Young. And Chris takes a strike. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Missed the corner. Josh Fogg started 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run. He had struggled so mightily in this ballpark coming in. Not tonight. And now 2 balls and a strike. You put Young on, you bring Drew up, and he represents the tying runs. And then again, as Bob, you well know, managing in this park with leads of 3 or less can be dicey. Into center field, though. Taveras is there. And there's your first down. Back to first, Cirillo in inning number 8. This detail of the game brought to you by Sharp Aquas, the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. Bring the details home. Check out the work of Augie Ojeda. Great catch.
Ball bounce around, kick up off his leg. Able to get the glove back out in front. Make the catch.
D-backs trying to do anything they can to get hot.
Stephen Drew's had a good night. He's hit the ball sharply twice, 2 knocks.
He's had a good postseason. 4 for 11 in this league championship series. Easy strike. 1-1 your count. Tough assignment for any left-hand hitter, Tony, against a guy like Fuentes.
Yeah, he makes it difficult. 3-quarter delivery, fastball, slider, mix in an occasional change, especially on a night like tonight where it's cold, it's raining. Last thing you want to do is not square that baseball up on that bat. Fuentes slingshotting that ball up to the plate.
And there again, the Arizona opportunities.
Yeah. That kind of tells you the story. Brought the leadoff man on.
2 out.
You rush a couple of 91-mile-per-hour fastballs up there. You follow that up with a big breaking ball. 76. Stephen Drew way out in front.
Well, not only the change in speeds in the break, but just the location. That ball started on the outer third of the plate, looked like it was going to be a strike, and then just dive bombs off that outside corner.
A hard luck night again for Burns tonight. Remember, the Diamondbacks opened the game with hits from Young and Drew to start the game against Fogg. Burns came up and hit a sizzler right back through the box. Fogg speared it and started a double play. Eric took a called third, leading off the 4th, and then popped out with Drew aboard in the 6th inning, reaching for a 3-1 pitch and popped it to second. And he pops up again. Matsui in shallow right. Burns' miseries continue. The Diamondbacks get a leadoff hit and cannot move it over. They're down 3 in the 8th.
Biggest at bat in the ball game, Yorvi Torrealba in that 6th inning with a couple of teammates on base. Livan Hernandez, steady dial of pitches off the outside corner, both fastballs, sliders, big slow breaking balls. Finally ran the count to full. Went to a pitch he thought he could fool Torrealba with that front door slider, and Yorvi is all over it for a 3-run homer. By our unofficial count, only the 2nd front door slider that Livan Hernandez threw in this game. One for a called strikeout on Troy Tulowitzki, the second one a 3-run homer.
And it was Tulowitzki who hit right in front of Torrealba in that decisive 6th inning tonight. So Yorvi, again, a very busy night. And in this postseason, Torrealba has been unbelievably hot. 8 for 20. In 6 games. And oftentimes, guys, you've talked about it, playoff series are not determined by the guys you think that will be the stars.
We had a 5-time All-Star at first base for the Rockies, a potential Rookie of the Year at shortstop, a potential MVP in left field, and it's Kaz Matsui and Yorvi Torrealba doing all the damage.
Torrealba in the 8th spot. The pitcher on deck.
Ground ball short. Drew gets a big hop. Catcher running plenty of time. Clark holds the bag, and there's your first out in the 8th inning. We invite you to stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly. Ernie, Cal, Frank Thomas, Ron Darling will be perched out in center field to recap our Game 3. Stay warm, fellas. And of course, if there's any news from the post-game press conferences with regards to Game 4 starting assignments, hopefully Ernie and the gang will be able to bring those to you. Tentatively, it's Mike Owings and Franklin Morales in Game 4. Don't know if Brandon Webb would be considered on short rest in a must-win as it stands now for Arizona. Ryan Spilborgh's up in the 8th inning. And he smokes one to second. Good play, Cirillo. Bad throw. Clark holds the bag. 2 out.
Now, personally, I think Bob Melvin's going to stick with the game plan, go with Micah Owens. In the postseason since 1995, pitchers working on 3 days rest, 19 and 33. And their teams in those games since 1995, 29 and 53. Not a high success proposition.
And frankly speaking, Owens has had a pretty good run as a starter. But right now, Arizona might need his bat in game 4 as Taveras is buzzed inside.
Straight over the top, 4-seam fastball. Taveras turns the correct way away from that baseball. Even if you do happen to get hit by that pitcher, taking it on the back or on the shoulder, somewhere where you're not going to get injured as badly if you turn into the ball.
1 ball, 1 strike. Taveras has put a lot of pressure on that Arizona defense with the bunt tonight, but he has yet to record a hit in game 3. Ball, 2 strikes in the 9th inning. Arizona will have Clark, Reynolds, Upton, the first 3 up, middle of the order against Manny Corpus. Ground ball first. Clark gives ground. Good play. Taveras hustling out by a quarter step. And the inning is over. Boy, these teams play hard. You love to see that. 9th inning, 4-1 Colorado. Arizona down 3 runs and down to their final 3 outs. And Manny Corpus on to try to close it. First pitch, a strike to Tony Clark. Corpus blew the save in game 2. Ball, 1 strike.
Well, including the postseason, the Rockies are 79-1 this year when leading after 8 innings. The only loss back in June against the Houston Astros.
The Rockies are 3 outs away from a 3-0 series lead. Game 4 is here tomorrow night. If there's a game 5, that also will be here in Denver. And Clark down to his last strike, 1 and 2.
We talked to Clint Hurdle this afternoon after Corpus blew the save in game 2. Was really happy with the fact that Corpus came back out the next inning, threw a shutout inning. Gave him an opportunity to win the game. Trying to nip off that outside corner.
Two balls, 2 strikes. I'm amazed at the fearlessness with which these young Colorado pitchers have worked this postseason.
Yeah.
Full count.
That's one of the few times they've even shown emotion out there. Most of the time, whatever the umpire calls is just a, they catch the ball, get back on the rubber, and get ready to throw the next pitch.
Ubaldo Jimenez started the other night, was dazzling. This guy Corpus throws hard, and Clark hits it to left. 1 out. Game 4 of the series tomorrow night. As it stands now, here are your probable starters. Mike Owings at 8-8. Franklin Morales 3-2, a big left-hander. Our coverage begins at 10 o'clock Eastern on TBS. If Arizona falls tonight, Morales will have a chance to pitch the Rockies into the World Series for the first time in franchise history.
Well, that's something we can talk about, but you can be sure that Clint Hurdle and Bob Apodaca aren't going to mention that.
Here's Reynolds, the only man for Arizona to touch the plate tonight. In fact, Colorado's allowed 4 runs in this NLCS. And they've allowed 5 runs in their last 4 postseason games. What pitching?
And I'm sure for our fans who have watched this series thus far, I'm sure you expected to see the Rockies do it a little bit differently. We've done it with pitching, solid defense, and some timely hitting.
It's been the recipe for 130 years in this game.
It works pretty good.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Usually the recipe the Arizona Diamondbacks go with too, but thus far the first 3 games, cashing in those opportunities, they just haven't been able to get it done. I think the Rockies pitching has had a lot to do with that.
Popped up. Tonight's Chevrolet players of the game are Josh Fogg and Jorge Torrealba. The battery for the Rockies was electrifying tonight. Torrealba with the big 3-run homer to make it a 4-1 game. Josh Fogg with 6 innings of 7-hit 1-run baseball. In recognition of their outstanding play, Chevy donates $1,000 to Major League Baseball's youth baseball charities, Chevy and American Revolution. Justin Upton, the final Arizona hope in the 9th. One more out, and the Rockies will win 20 out of 21. And Arizona will look back to 2004 and hope starting tomorrow night. To third. Atkins has it. The Rockies win it. And a 3-0 series lead. The Colorado Rockies might be destiny's darlings. They win 4-1 in Game 3. They have won 20 of their last 21 games. And tomorrow night here on TBS, They will go for a series sweep and a trip to the 2007 World Series. And for the Arizona Diamondbacks, another night of early opportunities. Opportunities aplenty. And the Rockies rocked them with 3 double plays in the game's first 3 innings tonight. Again is our final as we check in again with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Yorgri Toriyama, game-winning 3-run home run in the 6th inning. 2 on, 2 outs, 3-2 count. Talk about the pitch you got.
Well, basically, we know Livan. He basically, he never gonna give up, and then he worked, he worked me really well all season long. And then he tried to throw a fastball inside, and then just leave it around the middle and hit it really good. But I mean, he really got me off balance a little bit with slow stuff. And I was just looking basically for a slow stuff, but he threw a fast one that hit it really good.
Defensively, you've done a tremendous job behind the plate handling this pitching staff that's given up only 4 runs in 3 games. Talk a little bit about tonight's pitchers and the conditions they had to go through.
Well, the pitching team is doing a great job. I mean, the last month and a half, I mean, even before the season, before we make it to the playoff, the bullpen is outstanding. And the pitchers, starting pitchers, definitely, going battle and go and keep us in the game. And that's what they're doing. I mean, Foggy, we got to give a lot of credit to Josh. I mean, he pitched outstanding ball game tonight. And the bullpen, I mean, like I said, the last month it's been amazing. So
let's talk to Josh Fogg. He's standing right there. Your battery mate, the Dragon Slayer. Talk a little bit about the game you pitched tonight, especially got in trouble with 3 double plays in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, I wiggled out some jams early on. Got a fortunate line drive that hit my glove in the first inning, was able to double off, the guy at second, and got some big ground balls the next 2 innings to be able to double them up. And Tulo turned a great double play for me. Defense played great behind me. Addy made a great play. York did a great job all night behind the plate, and then got the big hit, obviously.
The pitching staff has been so tremendous in the series. How have you guys prepared to face the Arizona Diamondbacks? I know Eric Burns said maybe he just thought they weren't getting the breaks. You guys have been dominating.
We've played them a lot this year, so we have a pretty good idea what we want to do with them. Like I said yesterday, it's a game of adjustments, and I was able to make some adjustments tonight before they were, and get some ground balls when I needed them. But we're familiar with that group over there. We know what those hitters like to hit, and we try to avoid those pitches.
All right, thanks a lot. 20 out of 21, 1 game away from the World Series. Back to you, Chief.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. The Rockies are red hot on a very cold night. 4-1, they win Game 3 of our 2007 NLCS. For Tony Gwynn, Bob Brenly, Craig Sager, and the rest of our TBS crew, Chip Carey saying good night from Denver. Our exclusive coverage of the NLCS continues tomorrow on TBS. Game 4 at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. The Rockies will go for a 4-game sweep here at Coors Field. Coming up next, it's Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly. Ernie Johnson and the guys are next.